Is that a... Is your little, uh, profile picture from Siconia?
Yeah.
I just noticed it. I was like, wait, I recognize that art style. Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Umineko.
Hi.
You can't see it, but I can because I have the weird. It's the weird Discord overlay thing when you're playing a game. Hmm. But it's been a bit since we last recorded, so we're just gonna jump straight back into it. Oh right. Last time it was a really good time. Finally, it was like really happy for once. All right. All of the relatives and Nanjo could be seen in the dining hall. Nanjo sat alone, quietly watching the wind and rain outside. Aw. Yes! Sorry. Kraus sat down in the seat of his own rig, with Natsuhi standing motionlessly at his side. She can do so much better. The other siblings were gathered at the opposite end of the long table, whispering to each other.
Is that true?
Yes. Maria said the person who gave her the umbrella... Okay, was... What? Was father. Alright, okay, we're doing something different. Kinzo's the culprit. What in the world? In other words, our strategy has collapsed from the roots.
Not just our strategy. Since Father's healthy and has said that he'll make an announcement himself, our trivial bargaining with Nissan was completely pointless.
Yeah, that's what you guys fucking get.
Yep. That old bastard. Why couldn't he have just shown himself right away without making a show of it? Thanks to that, we've just been quarreling with Anarchy uselessly.
Or maybe he wanted to test us on that point. I might not be one to talk since we aren't related by blood, but your father's very intelligent, correct? Our arguments during the day were probably
That's Ava.
overheard by one of the servants. Yeah, I'm just kind of having trouble differentiating.
Okay, valid.
Our arguments during the day were probably overheard by the servants and reported to Father. Incredible. The fact that we were making a fuss with Father's inheritance as our goal is now right in the open.
Dude, he already knew.
Just incredible.
Ava uncharacteristically held her head, dejected. If, as Kirie had said, everything had been going according to Kinzo's plans from the beginning, and if this was a huge setup that had been kept up for over a year trying to find the siblings' true intentions, then they had fallen for it completely.
We still don't know for sure that it's reached Father's ears.
No, it definitely has. Everyone but Nissan claimed that Father was dead, and none of us believed in Father's good health. It's already over. Father will make an announcement. Nissan will become the successor, and he'll say we aren't even qualified to wear the one wing. Oh,
Nisa, get a hold of yourself!
Rosa-san, I wonder if Maria really received that umbrella from Father.
Who the fuck else could it... Huh? What do you mean?
Maria-chan might have seen Father. However, we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him. Maria-chan only claims to have seen him.
And as we all know, Maria is a compulsive liar. What are you saying? Are you saying Maria's lying?
Calm down, Rosa. Maria-chan didn't necessarily lie. Still, she's an innocent kid, right? For example, if Genji-san came up to her and said something like, I was told by your grandfather to hand this to you, Maria-sama, then even if Maria-chan hadn't met Dad, she still might say she got an umbrella from him, right?
That's right. That trick could work.
Jesus Christ. But what was it Maria-chan said? Grandfather came and handed me the umbrella. Yes, that's what she said. She clearly said that she received an umbrella directly from grandfather.
directly, huh? Then we're stuck.
Is it so insane to think that Kenzo isn't dead? Like, they're so adamant.
They often say that bad thinking's no better than sleeping.
Who the fuck is
If
they?
you think about it a bit, all of this about the umbrellas is a trivial problem. Why is that? Could Maria-chan have been bribed by Nissan to lie and say something that made it seem like father was in good health? There's no evidence that father actually handed the umbrella to her.
Fucking god.
Regardless of who Maria-chan received the umbrella from, assuming she was even given an umbrella in the first place, father will appear very soon.
God, no wonder
Once
Natsuhi has a headache problem. I would too, having to deal with these fucking jackasses.
Once father's in front of us, the problem with the umbrella will be completely trivial. In other words, this is not the time to gossip about the umbrella issue.
What do you mean this isn't a time?
I see. I got it. This is probably what Kirie-san's saying. Father's supposed to come here very soon. But the chance still remains that he'll get mad again and won't show up, right?
I see. That's true. Maybe Nissan just said father was going to appear at random in a desperate bid to buy time against our investigation.
Oh my fucking god.
Father really is dead already. And Nissan is still lying and saying he's healthy. In short, if father appears, then no schemes will be effective. There's no need to even think about that case. We're fish on the chopping board. We have no choice but to leave fate to the heavens and negotiate directly with father.
Alright, I'm gonna be honest. I can't be too hard on how Natsuhi and Kraus has raised Jessica, at least from what I know so far. Because if this was my family, yeah, I probably pushed my kid a little so we never had to fucking deal with them again. Like, are you fucking serious? Maybe there's more of their parenting style that I don't know about, but oh my fucking god.
That means we'd have no choice but to let him clobber us with his fists and prostrate ourselves and beg for money.
Going into episode 4, I wasn't expecting to sympathize with fucking Kraus.
But on the other hand, if father doesn't appear, then our primary strategy isn't hampered in the least.
I see. In short, no matter which way it goes, there's absolutely no need to get flustered now.
That's it. If father shows up, we just have to carry out the normal family conference. If he doesn't, we just have to keep on investigating Kraus-san.
Kraus is just over there, like in the room.
We can't let him talk his way out of it. Like if he says father's mood has suddenly gotten worse.
It seems what we should really be trying to figure out is what scheme Nissan is going to try and trick us with. The way he just doesn't know how to give up is something I know better than anyone.
God, no wonder Kenzo drinks absinthe. I wouldn't too if I had to deal with these guys. If father is well, we'll prostrate ourselves and beg for money. If it's a farce of Kraus-san's, then we'll continue our ugly sibling fight. It sounds like this year's family conference is going to be just wonderful.
Yep. So bad thinking is no better than sleeping, huh? It's almost 10. Should we press Haneke?
Just over in the corner, some guy. Rudolph and the rest looked at Kraus. He was sitting down firmly and looked like he was awaiting Kinzo's arrival with an air of composure. They couldn't tell if he was really composed or if he was scheming about how to tie together his lie. Dear.
Calm yourself. We won't get anywhere by making a fuss after all this.
God, Natsuki's so beautiful. Sorry.
Let's leave it to Genji-san.
It's almost 10, isn't it? That was the time that had been set for tonight's family conference to open. And it was the time that the Ushiromiya family head needed to appear. Right then, they heard the sound of footsteps approaching from the hall. There were multiple sets. Natsuki raised her head, relieved. But because of the sound of a knock, her expression was filled with disappointment. Because Kinzo probably wouldn't have knocked. Battler.
Oh, shit. Please excuse us. I have finished closing up the mansion for the night.
It was Goda and Kumasawa. Unlike the powerful Goda, it was rare for Kumasawa with her old body to be forced to work this late. Of course, Krauts also seemed to know that.
Indeed. Good work. My apologies for making you work at such a time, Kumasawa-san. Oh, it's nothing. I may not look it, but staying up late is still one of my specialties.
Wouldn't it be okay to at least let Kumasawa leave without being an observer? It really will be difficult on her body, I imagine.
The order was to gather all of the servants as well. I cannot disobey.
Tonight's family conference was clearly different from normal. On a normal year, no one was allowed to attend except family members. To have the servants present for such a thing was unthinkable. But this year was different. All the servants were told to attend. Of course, they were not allowed to talk. They were there as observers. Just what in the world was happening that needed to be observed by 5 servants? Even Kraus didn't know.
I don't look it, but I'm good at staying up late. If you stuff yourself with mackerel too, Crow-sama, you'll be more manly at night.
Okay, goddamn.
I see you're still in high spirits.
High enough spirits to joke about my sex life.
I'm sure you'll be working in such high spirits until you're 100. Madam, forgive my arrogance, but I've prepared a light snack. I can serve it at any time, so feel free to order it.
Thank you. You really are considerate. Please offer refills of coffee to the others.
Certainly.
After nodding, Goda took the pot towards the relatives gathered at the other end of the table. As he did, more footsteps approached from the hallway. It was a single set, and it was light. Even before the knock, they could imagine who it was.
Excuse me. I've taken the children to the guest house.
They're older than you. Good work. Tonight is a special evening. Make sure you stay alert.
Yes. Certainly, madam.
Genji had gone with Kanon to meet with Kinzo. There was still no sign of their return. The hand of the clock past 10 slightly. Once sure of that, Ava spoke to Kraus. God, fuck.
Nissan, it's time. Are you still not going to start the family conference? The arrival of the guest of honor has been delayed. Wait a short while. How long? Sorry, but time's up. I won't have you saying father hasn't quite shown up yet over and over until dawn.
Jesus fucking Christ.
How could I make a promise about the time father shows up? Why are you in such a rush? Why not drink some tea and calm down for now?
Aniki, we're gathered here for a family conference, not a farce. Wait 30 more minutes. But if that doesn't work, you'll let us break into the study, okay? Okay, your ass!
Break into? Such an action would be quite lacking in respect for the head.
Oh, right, our apologies. We'll be good for 30 more minutes. I look forward to seeing if you can keep that same smile up 30 minutes from now. So, you honestly believe that father is dead? I have no desire to discuss that for now. We can wait until father comes out here. There's absolutely no need for me to argue you down, Nissan. The Yoshiromiya headship will be passed on to the proper person in the proper manner. No matter what you may scheme, you cannot resist. Of course, the same goes for me. What are you trying to say? And after bragging all these years about being the successor yourself?
Yeah, clearly... Dude, if anyone... God, these fucking idiots! Sorry. This episode is really making me hate. Sorry. I'll be back. I need to get water. Hi everyone, sorry for that abrupt cut. I started dying, so I had to go get water. I'm still recovering from it.
From dying.
Anyway, I can't get over how this fucking episode is making me sympathize for Kraus. Like, I truly... What the... Like, they're so... Why are they being so fucking stupid out of nowhere?
I'll turn your own words back on you. I have no desire to discuss that now. All that matters is for father to come here and proclaim it with his own mouth. There's absolutely no need for me to argue you down.
Get her ass.
Right?
Kraus casually turned Ava's words back on her. Get her ass. Of course, that added oil to Ava's anger. But it didn't ignite. Because, in the instant, the sound of a very loud knock rang out. Both Genji and Kanon were usually very reserved when they knocked. They wouldn't hit the door with such a violent strength. It was like a judge's gavel slamming down and call for silence. So everyone went quiet. The door opened slightly, and Genji showed himself. Then he spoke with a serious tone different from his usual one. It wasn't the tone he used when carrying out his duties. It was the tone he used when speaking for Kenzo himself. So just by hearing Genji speak like that, the siblings were struck with a sudden tension. Take your seats, everyone. At those words, the dining hall was wrapped in total silence, and everyone hurriedly returned to their designated seats. It was as though students who had been bustling around just before homeroom had suddenly returned to their seats when their teacher came. And it might even look humorous, but there was no way anyone would joke about it. Everyone sat in order, and Shannon, Goda, and Kumasawa stood up straight in a row by the wall. The head of the glorious Ushiromiya family and lord of Rokkenjima, the island that sparkles gold, Lord Ushiromiya Kinzo, has arrived. Of the double doors that led to the dining hall, Genji opened the right door from the inside, and Kanon opened the left door from the outside. And, welcomed by a respectful bow from those two, majestically fluttering his cape, Kinzo appeared. Fucking... He's such a drama queen. Kinzo's gait had a dignified weight to it, and it was hard to believe that he had reportedly been at the end of his life. Genji pulled back Kinzo's seat and motioned for him to sit. But Kinzo stayed standing, signaling with his chin for Genji to move back.
Oh fuck.
Did you forget you voiced him?
No, I forget how. I don't have. It's a it's like I'm gonna have to. I don't.
Do you want me to take over voicing him?
No, I'm gonna. I just it might be a little awkward at first.
All
It's
right.
fine. Welcome to Rokkenjima, ladies and gentlemen. Why the frightened face, Ava?
Okay, so it's genetic.
No, why would I be frightened? I'm just relieved to find you in excellent spirits, Father. Ava, you're as amusing as ever, aren't you? Why don't you just honestly say how frustrated you are at losing your bet with Kraus?
This is the most happy I've ever seen him.
You can't say it, can you?
Ava realized that their conversation during the day had indeed been linked to Kenzo, and she hung her head, turning red. Get fucked!
Well then, my sons and daughters and their companions. Tonight I shall make an important announcement regarding my inheritance and the succession that you all seem so keen on.
It's all going to Maria. Fuck you all.
But first,
We dance!
I must tell you how incredibly disappointed I am. After all, until this very day, no one has been able to solve the riddle of the epitaph.
Wait, did someone solve it? Even though Kenzo said he was disappointed, a condescending smile rose to his face as though there was no way the lights of the East could have solved it, and his gaze passed through all of them. One moment.
I had planned to hand over everything to the one who could solve it. But none had been able to solve it before today, and here we are, and here we stand, with nothing of mine passed down to anyone. How shameful to think that not one among you has come forward with the qualifications to succeed me. How truly disappointing and shameful and pathetic.
The siblings hung their heads in silence. Of course, they would have solved it if they could. True, they couldn't deny that they wasted a golden opportunity. It was just so hard.
Therefore, I am proclaiming here and now that I will suspend the use of the epitaph's riddle as a method of choosing my successor. In short, time's up.
Okay, there we go.
This is game over. And what a shame for you all. Even though it should have given you all an equal and fair chance, that's gone now.
It truly sounded like Kenzo was making a victory proclamation.
In that case, will my oldest son Crow succeed the headship? The answer is no. Huh? You understand, right, Kraus? I certainly gave you the title of successor. But all you did was let it go to your head. Do you know what a successor is? It means the person who will inherit your position after you, Father. Wrong. The position of successor isn't something that's guaranteed by the current head at all. Listen up, Kraus. I won't tell you this again. A successor is what you call someone who finds everyone else who's after the headship, thoroughly breaks their noses and makes it so that they can never disobey him again. This is not only something that can be said of the headship. It's the same with money. A rich person doesn't mean someone who has money. It means someone who crushes everyone who had more money than himself, and who scrabbles together more money than anyone else. It's the same with talent. A genius is not what you call a person blessed with talent. What is okay? I'm just wondering how long he's gonna go on.
I don't know. I kind of love it.
It means a person who crushes everyone with more talent than themselves.
He just keeps giving off explanations. A best-selling author isn't someone who wrote a book that sold the most. It's someone who crushed all the other authors.
A person who can coerce genius isn't all other people to call them that using strength and charisma. You have a mistaken impression when it comes to all of these things. So you aren't of the right caliber to be my successor. I'll take your words to heart.
Sorry, Dad.
Perhaps that truly was Kinzo's philosophy. As a result of faithfully carrying out that rant-like philosophy as his, Kinzo had glorified the Ushiro family to the state it was in today. It may be hard to imagine after his immersion in the cult in recent years, but that brutally overbearing outlook was no more or less than Ushiromiya Kinzo's charisma and aura. He was aura farming? I will say,
Yes, his riz was
insane.
His riz was off the charts.
I will say, I kind of fucking rock with Kinzo doing this. This is honestly kind of iconic.
Such an unsatisfactory person is not qualified to inherit everything of the Ushiromiya family. In that case, is Ava, Rudolph, or Rosa qualified? Again, no. You were unable to solve the riddle, and you were also unable to use a scheme to drag Kraus down. All the three of you managed to do was gather together in a united front to try and extort money from Kraus. And even that scheme was thoughtless. You can't even corner Kraus all by himself. There could be nothing more shameful. You lack the avarice to steal away the position of successor by any means. In order to get what you want, you should sacrifice everything, becoming as covetous and greedy as possible. The goddess of luck smiles upon the greedy. You three who don't have that wild spirit are as unfit for the succession as Kraus is.
Ava and the rest had no words to respond with, and they couldn't calculate what it was Kinzo was about to say. Was Kinzo actually planning to proclaim that no one would succeed the headship? If so, that would work to Ava, Rosa, and Rudolph's advantage. After all, in the end, they just had to renegotiate everything among the siblings after Kinzo's death, splitting the inheritance evenly. It would surely be more troublesome if a specific person's name was raised and proclaimed to be the successor. Do you think he's not going to... He's going to write a will that makes it very clear that fucking no one gets his money. Like, are you kidding me? But would Kinzo really say something to benefit any of the four siblings after demeaning them so much?
You don't think he's going to say that because no one will succeed him? He'll donate all of his fortune to charity or something, right?
Oh god! Why he donates his money to a good cause?
He's so kind.
I'm afraid I wouldn't put it past Father. The blood's just risen to his head. We can't do anything but let him talk for now. That bastard.
Oh, well then, Father. What thoughts do you have regarding the succession of the headship? Since I'm so utterly disappointed in all of you, I've lost the desire to hand it over to anyone. Therefore, the Ushiromiya family will end here. It ends with my generation.
You all must change your last name.
That cannot... The Ushiromiya family was crushed long ago in that earthquake. The current Ushiromiya family is nothing but an illusion of gold I'm glimpsing for an instant. The likes of which will end when I awaken from my slumber. Everything in this world is a dream, an illusion. Life is but a daydream before the awakening called death.
Alright.
Yes, that's how it was from the beginning. That I should lose everything when I die was part of Beatrice's contract and her curse. As if I'd let you, Beatrice. I'll be the one who captures you. Tonight that goal will be realized.
For a while, Kinzo was overcome with cackling, and his eyes bulged. Whenever he talked about Beatrice, it was always both eloquent and insane.
Foolish children such as yourselves truly are daydreams. It's as though you were never there from the beginning. Disappear, wake up. Disappear from the doze of truth that I am. You failures that have not built up anything that makes you worthy to succeed me.
Kinzo-san, if I may.
What is it, my friend?
Oh, that's nice.
Nanjo nervously raised his hand, asking to speak. That's my fucking boy right there! Kinzo allowed him to.
I understand how you feel, Kinzo-san. Because you love your children, you expect a lot of them.
I don't love them, what are you talking about?
And as a parent and grandparent myself, I understand how parental affection can make you feel as though your expectations were betrayed. However, you are extraordinary, Kinzo-san. A genius. Hot, sexy, isn't just saying that it's only natural for them to catch up to you a little too harsh. Despite that, Kraus-san, Evo-san, Rudolph-san, and Rosa-san, and all of their partners have done their very best to catch up with you.
Oh, and just how much money have they built up with us doing their best? After these cowards fail completely inventors and get in debt, and still try to sponge off me, how can you say that they did their very best? Money is the crystallization of everything in this world. If you cannot grasp that, then you cannot grasp the world. If a life cannot strongly grasp this world, it doesn't deserve to live. Disappear. Disappear from my life and reality.
That's a reckless argument. With that logic, even I must not live.
Get his ass, Nanjo! Kinzo's just like, you're right! Nanjo, you're the successor!
Even so, I believe the time I spent playing chess with you was worthwhile for both of us, Kinzo-san.
Old man Yaoi! Oh my god!
You should know better than anyone else that there are many things in this world that cannot be bought with money.
As the siblings motionlessly hung their heads, they cheered Nanjo on inside their heart. Not one of the siblings could offer their opinion in front of Kinzo in a rage, but Kinzo's close friend Nanjo alone was allowed to. Even though Kinzo had raged so fiercely, after being admonished by Nanjo, he nodded several times as though in agreement. These old men are in love. Are you kidding me? The surprisingly obedient side of him might have seemed cute, but there was no one here who could laugh.
It may be true that your children haven't built up as great a fortune as you have, Kinzo-san. Though, even so, they're rich enough to make me jealous. But besides money, they have also built up many things that cannot be bought with money. When it comes to that, they are in no way inferior to you, Kinzo-san.
Oh, and what do you claim they have built up that cannot be bought with money?
Happiness. Family. I found wonderful partners, had children, and each has built up their own happy homes.
Nanjo, Nanjo, I was on your side, but you're
He's really exaggerating here.
They have glorified your family name and have brought back grandchildren. Grandchildren are wonderful. The older people can look at these young grandchildren who will live on into a new era that we will not even be given a chance to see. And in them, we can imagine an endless future. Isn't that the sole entertainment we have in our old age? Remember,
I don't know.
Kinzo-san.
I think Kinzo's pretty entertained with his drinking and chess.
Remember your joy when they first brought back their grandchildren.
It's like he's trying to talk back a brainwashed loved one.
Yeah. This is so old man Yaoi.
Your children and your grandchildren will carry your great works onto future generations, setting an example. That is something that an individual cannot accomplish no matter how much money they have. The siblings all nodded in agreement. Yeah, listen to your boyfriend, Dad. Certainly, Kenzo had looked happy when his grandchildren had just been born.
I love how he has the boyfriend who talks him down and like opposes him, and he has the boyfriend who enables him. Genji's completely on board with whatever he wants.
The ultimate yes man. Back when he still had some sanity in his heart. However, did Kenzo's heart still contain a human's warmth?
In other words, in exchange for the vast riches I created, instead of gaining money, I've gained my grandchildren.
Useless! No, that's not what I...
So in exchange for the several tens of billions in wealth that I've built up, I've gained a single grandchild from each of my children. Well... Have you forgotten about Enji? There's another one.
I was like, no, wait. I was like, wait, no. I'm pretty sure one of them has more than one child. Kiryu speaks something like, what the fuck?
This is wonderful. So I've created a single life using 10 billion yen.
No. What?
That's how it is. Interesting, truly an interesting example in the alchemical sense, right? Oh, what valuable grandchildren. Wonderful, wonderful.
Bring them here!
Is that right, Kraus? Is your daughter worth 10 billion yen?
Don't ask Kraus, I don't think he'd say yes. Kraus couldn't answer instantly. God damn! It wasn't that he didn't have confidence in his daughter. It's because he didn't have a clue what Kenzo was trying to test him with this question. This question.
Well, yeah, Kenzo's gonna try and twist his words no matter what, I think.
Just like, Kenzo, it's just like, Dad, what the fuck? But when Natsuhi was then pressed for an answer, she responded, breaking Kraus' silence with an answer of her own interpretation. Yes, Jessica's a daughter who I wouldn't let go of for even 10 billion yen. In that sense, I believe that she has a value that can't be measured with money. I love you, Natsuhi.
Oh, so you can state for certain that she's worth 10 billion.
Then I'll sell her into slavery. What?
Huh. What about you, Ava? What about your George?
Since Natsuhi had answered that way... Wait, holy shit. What if he said one child for each family because he doesn't consider Battler a grandchild because he threw away the Ushiromiya name?
Oh, maybe, yeah. I just keep thinking. Well, Rudolph already talked about selling Battler, or like, if anyone took Battler hostage, he would just say keep him.
Don't do my boy Battler like that. Damn.
So I can't wait to see what Rudolph says.
Since Natsuhi had answered that way, Ava naturally came up with her own answer as well. I wouldn't sell George for 20 billion yen. Dude, even though Ava should have known better than to respond to a provocative question like this, she answered as well.
Yes, Father. George is worth 10 billion. No, even more than that. And that's not in the abstract sense of things money can't buy. George will certainly build up a fortune equal to his worth.
He's just like, God damn, I get it, you don't like your kid.
He'll become a grandson worthy of carrying on your great works, Father.
Jesus Christ, Ava. Ava sent a glance at Hideyoshi and Natsuhi, and she scored him. Oh. When she heard what Ava had said, Natsuhi was about to add more praise for her daughter, but stopped at a glare from Kraus. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that's Natsuhi trying to one-up Ava. I think that's Natsuhi trying to be like, Jessica's fucking amazing, how dare you?
I see. Then what about you, Rudolph? What about your battler?
Compared to George Coon, there's nothing about Valor I can brag about. God!
Like that! He says this and Kid says instantly, alright, I'll kill him.
If he was kidnapped and we were threatened with a ransom of 10 billion, I feel like
Here.
sticking a bow in the guy and letting them have him.
There we go. I thought he'd said it before this.
What a sack of shit! Only Angie is the only like immediate family member that likes him. Carrier! She made me so angry I slipped out of the Japanese pronunciation. I hit it with the American R. Balor, I'm so sorry that these are your parents.
On top of that, he's an idiot, reckless, talks about grand dreams and things that couldn't be done. I guess in that way, he's a super idiot worth the equivalent of 10 billion normal idiots.
That's maybe the worst way he could have answered that.
What the fuck? And the fact that he's like, hell yeah, fuck that guy.
Well, I'm sure that guy could do things even a group of 10 billion average people couldn't do. Well, I'm pretty sure he'll fall flat on his face. Well, it isn't easy, and he's a fucking idiot. Fuck him. But at the very least, just know that watching over his life will be more fun than looking at 10 billion average people.
Oh my fucking god, he's just like, no, Balor's worthless, but it's gonna be so fun watching him fail. Are you fucking kidding me? I need them to go to the meta world right now so we can see Balor and Angie's reaction to this. Ava clicked her tongue at that clever style of speech, which would probably match Kinzo's tape. Ava was like, damn it! Why didn't I insult George?
Honestly, I'm starting to like Rudolph more.
It was...
I'm like,
Honestly,
he's
Rudolph
so... he's just so entertaining.
I will say, that was funny as hell. That was funny as hell, but I can't believe he did my boy Battler like that. Apparently, Rudolph had done that on purpose, so he grinned back at her.
That's right, I hate my son.
What of Maria?
Like, fully drops the R slur. Like, whoa, 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 whoa! Maria is my adorable and only daughter. Her value cannot be measured with money. That is all. Yes, I read it like that on purpose.
I mean, yeah, look at her face. Look at her sprite.
It's like, I love her. They believe that, right?
I see. Dreams in the future, miracles, and possibilities are the source of my magical power. No magic without hopes holds any strength. I cannot expect any more from you who have proven to be average. But I see my grandchildren hold future possibilities, and expecting a magical miracle from them may be worthwhile.
Bring them here.
If you're saying that in this way, they're worth more than 10 billion. Yes, I can see where you're coming from.
When Kinzo got in a rage, he wouldn't let anyone speak up. But even so, he would sometimes accept something on his own while yelling by himself, and change his own opinion. Ah, good for him.
That's what this felt like to the siblings.
Apparently, even though Kinzo had been disgusted by his unsuccessful children and had cast them away as being unfit for the inheritance of his title or his fortune, he wasn't sure about his grandchildren. At this rate, he might soon say that the inheritance would go to his grandchildren instead of the siblings. As the siblings sat in fear of what their fickle and short-tempered father might suddenly think of next, they carefully watched his every move.
Let me change my thinking a little.
Let me, how you say, spin the chessboard around.
I have absolutely no desire to hand over all I have to any of you. However, it will be quite interesting to question the grandchildren to see if one of them is qualified.
I don't want the murders to happen. I just want to keep seeing this. I want this. I want it to keep going like this. I want to know where it goes. I want to know how he talks to the grandchildren.
I've always thought of them as mere kids. But there's a chance I'll find a shining gem amongst them that will catch me off guard.
Him and Maria just start having like an in-depth conversation about magic, and he comes out, Maria's the successor. She's like 10.
This is like when a 9-year-old was crowned as king back in the day.
The previous king was like, I fuck with this 9-year-old. This dude's cool as hell.
I'm thinking about the last emperor of China, who
Oh, right.
I told you about this. I need to reread his Wikipedia page. Such an interesting guy.
Oh. Let's see where this goes.
And testing them for that would be... Yes, it would be a shame to abandon that final side trip in my remaining life.
This just takes a hard right turn and it becomes the book Playground.
Hmm. Well then, what shall I do? Remind me what Playground's about again?
It's about an old woman who tricks a bunch of low-income families to bring their children to a playground that turns into a saw trap.
Hmm.
It's a splatterpunk book by Aaron Beauregard.
Yeah, I know it's a Splatterpunk book. I've seen a couple.
I'm,
I've read or
I'm
like
saying
watched a
that for the
couple things about it, but
I'm saying
okay,
that for
yeah.
the benefit of the
I'm mostly
audience at
just
home.
clarifying. So I'm mostly just clarifying so I don't look stupid.
um, it's splatterpunk is very extreme. It's hard to recommend, though. I love it for like what it represents and like the history of it. Even I can't read a lot of splatterpunk. I watch reviews of the books and I'm like, "Ugh," I sometimes have to turn them off.
You won't even read my recommendations, and they're not even Splatterpunk.
Okay, no, that's just me being a procrastinator.
Okay.
I'm like, damn, I want to read that book. I got video game. I have a backlog of video games to play.
You know what? That's so real.
I have so many movies and books I need to I need to watch or read.
That's so real. You should watch the movie The Sadness. It's really
I
good.
want I want to. I watched a review of it.
I watched it last night.
Okay. All right. There's our there's our per video random ramble.
I can, with confidence, recommend George as someone fitting to follow after you.
Ava claimed that right away. Natsuki looked like she was about to follow along, but Kraus gave her a look telling her to restrain herself, so she swallowed her words.
How bold. Then let us do this. I will individually question the grandchildren to see if they are qualified to succeed the Ushiromiya family inheritance and wealth.
Yes! I don't want there to be any murders in this episode.
Father. However, that does not mean one of you will indirectly receive the inheritance. I'm already disappointed in you all.
Hold on, I'm moving stuff around. There you go.
There's no longer anything I have to give you. Not a thing. The ones I will question are my grandchildren, and the ones who might succeed me are my grandchildren. Make absolutely sure that you do not mistake this. Understood? I shall obey father's decision.
Yeah, like you have a fucking choice, dude.
Same here. I'll go along with what he decides. What about you, Aneki?
Of course. I believe father will make a wise judgment.
I will also obey father's decision.
I shall think of how to test my grandchildren, which means this is no longer any business of yours. After all, none of you are involved with the succession in any way now. So right here, right now, perhaps we should discuss a different matter that does involve you.
Which one of you wants to die first?
A different matter? Indeed. That is tonight's true purpose, and the true purpose for this
Oh my god.
final Ushidomiya family conference as well. I have no desire to hear your thoughts and opinions. I demand only your assistance. Assistance in my ceremony.
Your ceremony.
Quiet! Father's talking now.
Jesus Christ. Rudolph and the rest had automatically narrowed their brows at the occult-like word. Would he be planning to start some strange ceremony involving Beatrice's resurrection again? He wanted their assistance. What in the world was he planning to do? In the past, he had carried out many eccentricities that he called by the same name, such as starting to burn a strange incense and filling the whole mansion with stench. To the siblings, a ceremony was nothing more than one of the aged Kinzo's obnoxious hobbies.
Father, just what do you mean by that?
Ritualistic murder, of course.
If we can assist you, we'll do anything. Right, Rosa?
Damn! Yes. What in the world is it?
Everyone loves asking, right, Rosa?
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Leave me alone!
A ceremony as inscribed in my epitaph. A ceremony to revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Land. That witch who escaped her cage of flesh and sneeringly slipped through my fingers, I shall now capture.
Rose is in the corner, like,
And force into submission with my greatest hidden art. For that purpose, I must offer 13 people as sacrifices. Gathering 13 people's worth of sacrifices is no easy feat. But tonight is the family conference. Many adults have gathered on Rokkenjima. There can be no other day on which to carry out the ceremony.
Taken literally, it sounded like it was telling them to become human sacrifices for a dark ceremony and die. Ridiculous. Was it some kind of metaphor? They didn't even have a clue what he was trying to illustrate. The siblings whispered together about what Kenzo was saying.
What's Dad going on about? Is this his usual sickness?
Probably. Listen silently for now.
Let him wear himself out.
I'm sorry, Father. I don't understand what you mean by that. What is it you don't understand? I'm making this extremely simple. I told you that I'll choose 13 of the humans on this island and offer them as sacrifices in a ceremony to revive Beatrice. Even worthless people like you can be very useful as sacrifices in my ceremony. Listen. This is not a joke nor anything of the sort. This is my final bet, my final ceremony. The last one I will desire in my life. There are now more than 13 humans on this island. In short, that's a headcount that could easily satisfy the massive number of sacrifices I require. Become the sacrifices for my ceremony.
Kenzo-san, you weren't serious about what you said back then, were you? It wasn't a joke? Oh fuck, I'm getting out of here! Unusually for him, Nanjo's face changed color as he stood up and shouted. It seemed this wasn't the first time Nanjo had heard all this dark talk about 13 sacrifices.
Sorry, my friend. That was no joke nor anything of the sort. It is what I bet my life on, the final ceremony. The final game that I will attempt. Yes, this is a game.
A game called Umineko When They Cry.
If getting my fortune and leaving the island is your goal, then there are only 2 ways to achieve it. Will you escape being chosen as one of 13 sacrifices and spectacularly survive by finally solving the riddle and stopping the riddle of the epitaph and stopping the...
Sorry?
The what?
Oh my gosh.
And stopping the ceremony? Or will you kill me
Well,
and thereby stop the ceremony?
man, I wonder what we should do.
Those are your only 2 options.
And then comes out of nowhere and just stabs him. By now, everyone wasn't just whispering, but chattering and muttering away. Even the siblings had noticed that Kenzo was beginning to act abnormally.
Father, are you a little tired? Genji-san, has father been drinking?
Yes, but that's besides the point. He doesn't want you all to die.
No. Master is sensible. Sorry, Dad. I don't have a clue what you're talking about. Ned's free to start up any weird ceremony he wants to revive the witch he loves. That's his hobby. But getting wrapped up in that, being made into a human sacrifice is a little more than I could handle.
Rudolph, are you trying to interrupt father?
What are you talking about, Aniki? You expect me to listen to something that's shady and say, "Oh, really?" Was the ceremony Kenzo had mentioned literally something disturbing? Or was it some kind of test to choose the successor? I think that Rudolph had taken it literally. But Ava apparently still believed that it was something like a test or examination to find a proper successor. Why is she putting human sacrifice past Kenzo? Kenzo responded with a clear smile.
Well then, that is all I have to say. No objections or opinions are necessary from you. I will simply awaken from my dream of having 4 unsuccessful children. To all of you, what will occur now before your very eyes may seem like a dream, an illusion, something that couldn't conceivably be of this world, and a world that defies understanding. But that itself is my reality. Now I will finally awaken from the shallow, useless dream that all of you are. The game has already begun, see? With as many of you here, I could take lives starting with anyone. So long, my unsuccessful children. And for the final and only time in your lives, be useful for my ceremony. Arise, Pendragon's memorial troops.
Kenzo raised his arms high like an opera singer and yelled as if towards a packed audience. The air shattered like glass, and the outline of 3 people who suddenly had been invited to this island appeared. Alright, that one's you.
Chester 45 right here.
And this one's me. What voice did I do for her? Okay, I'm making a new one. Chester 410 right here! Who wants to play Blondie?
I can... Okay. Do you want
want me to? You sound like you're struggling with coming up with a voice, so I'll do it.
Yeah, I am.
Chester Dolo, right here, sir. How's that?
Yeah? Yeah?
3 girls with strange forms suddenly appeared behind Kenzo. Where from? When? Who? Who were they? The humans were thrown off balance, and their minds went blank. Because they spent all that time thinking, they lost their chance to survive.
You have permission to shoot 6 to death. I leave the choice of targets up to you. Begin your attack.
Unrestricted firing, understood, sir. Thank you for granting us such excellent targets. Everyone, commence unrestricted firing. First one in, yeah! Yeah! When 410 scratched the air with her finger, a golden ball appeared in empty space, and she pulled its string. The golden arrow that had been ready there was fired off without any hesitation, flew around the room, leaving haphazard gold curves everywhere. No! This is bullshit!
Don't worry, you got a lot of time with her next episode.
And shows Natsuhi from among those sitting at the table of the family conference, pulverizing the left half of her face. Flesh and deep red blood scattered around, leaving massive red splatter marks on the relative's face and the pure white tablecloth. The silence fell. Despite the massive number of deep red spots left in the tablecloth, no one could understand why Natsuhi's head was half smashed, nor why she was hanging her head as though dozing while still sitting. And they watched on in silence. Those sitting on Natsuhi's right-hand side were silent for a relatively long time. Those sitting to her left were not. This is bullshit. Because the people sitting on that side had been shown how her head had been smashed open like a watermelon or a pomegranate. They could even see inside her.
Sui. One down. Natsuhi, is it? A luckless woman till the end.
She does deserve better.
Next.
Double firing. After scratching the empty air in the same way and readying her bow, Double O fired as well. After it flew around and around at high speeds like the golden arrow 410 had released, drawing a convoluted curve in the same manner, it smashed half of Rudolph's head in the same way as he looked at Natsuki in shock, killing him instantly. This time, everyone managed to avoid freezing up mentally. They realized that a fearsome murder had started playing out right in front of them, just as Kinzo had said. And they realized that Kinzo would probably kill even more. Ah! Shrill screams burst out. Even so, they didn't know what to do. So they could only keep screaming and flapping their wide open mouths like goldfish.
Father. What do you think you're doing?
What the fuck do you think, Ava? She told you! You fool! Run now! As Ava asked Kenzo that in total shock, Hideyoshi, who had come to his senses faster than anyone else, because of his years in the military, I believe, and risen to his feet, pulled at her arm from behind. However, merciless fates chose for the third sacrifice was Hideyoshi. Well, just like the two before him, half of Hideyoshi's head was neatly smashed. Oh, neatly! And the right side of his head, which happened to be facing that direction at the time, had been blown away with its contents exposed like a watermelon or a pomegranate. So, still holding Ava, Hideyoshi slumped backwards and fell down. Still held by her beloved husband, Ava fell over backwards with him.
Dear? Eek!
Ava screamed. It was only natural. The face she had been looking for had been half lost, and the crushed skull, the mashed brains, and the crushed jaw all lay bare.
45. Impact is a hit.
Yes, obviously.
Spectacular. Fire again. 3 more remain. Father. What is this supposed to be?
He just said you either have to solve the riddle or kill him, and I'm gonna be honest, grab a fucking chair and start smashing. When Kraus stood up forcefully and was about to rush Kinzo, Double-O blocked him. With her slender-looking body, she held back Kraus with just the palm of her right hand. He still tried to resist and attack Kinzo. Okay, good for you, Kraus. So Double-O lifted Kraus by the nape of the neck and twisted into his Adam's apple with her thumb. It seemed to be very painful, and Kraus was overcome with agony.
Everyone, run. Get the police. Ambulance. Quickly.
Hold on, what's a scarf? Escape! Naldo's sharp word finally dissolved the spell that had been holding them down in their chairs. Goda and Kumasawa each tried to escape from the dining hall first. 410 moved in an instant and appeared there plugging the way. No! You sure are slow, Nye. Do you think I'd let you escape, Nye? Why does she keep saying Nye? I didn't press
Help
skip.
me! Goda-san, duck.
Even though Goda didn't understand, he crouched when he heard Kirie's sharp voice. A burst of air rushed above his head. Kirie taking a big swing with the chair to mow 410 down. Get her ass! But 410, still with a mocking expression, easily caught that wildly swung chair with a single hand. What a scary woman, yeah. You really want to go the same way as your husband that much? From the cuff of her arm where she had caught the chair, something like a shining golden snake appeared, wrapped itself around the chair, and burst open. It was a fearsome power, like a vice. When Kirie realized that the being in front of her, which looked like a girl, was actually something that surpassed human knowledge and that a human could not even begin to oppose, her head was filled with a fierce alarm bell that welled up from deep inside her. Genji, Shannon, and all the servants permitted to wear the one-winged eagle continued to stand calmly at attention by the wall, even when it seemed like this before their eyes. Fucking chillin'. Make him look very bizarre and eerie. For an instant, Kirie thought they managed to stay calm because they were with the enemy, and had been given a guarantee that they wouldn't be killed. And then Shannon died. But as soon as she thought that, the thought of Genji's face, no, not Genji! Was blown away before her eyes. Oh, Genji-san!
45 impact, it's a hit. Oh, Genji, how unfortunate. Rest in peace, my friend. Your death will not be wasted. You will become one of the 13 keys essential to the resurrection of my beloved witch.
The half of Genji's expression that remained was as indifferent as ever. He tilted, fell over, and sent a blood-red splatter out across the floor.
Genji-sama. We're nothing more than the witch's pieces. Nothing more. Nothing more.
From the meek and frustrated, no, resigned expressions on Shannon and Cannon's faces, one couldn't sense any naive hopes that they'd be rescued. That's right. Kinzo was, in the truest sense, carrying out these murders at random. In the truest sense, he was killing like it was a game to see who would be saved and who would be killed. Well then, who'll go for next, Nye? 410 looked at Kirie for a second. In the second, Kirie was prepared for her own death. But when she raided her golden bow in midair, 410 was looking at someone else over Kirie's shoulder. So, as imprudent as it was, Kirie felt as though she had been saved. Jesus, Kirie. Again, an ugly, exploding pop sound rang throughout the room. Was it this time? When Kirie turned to face the direction of the sound, she saw blood gushing like a fountain and Ava lying on her husband's chest. Of course, her face had been half smashed, just like her husband's. 410 unmercifully targeted Ava as she clung to her husband's corpse, sobbing. Let go of Nissan! Nissan! Just stop it, father! Just stop this brutality!
Run away, Rosa.
Oh wow, Rosa, you don't like seeing family hurt their family members? Oh. Rosa's objection didn't reach Kinzo as he continued to laugh loudly in the blood-splattered dining hall. And she wasn't able to lessen Krause's pain at being lifted up by the nape of the neck by Double Up. So, Rosa had no choice but to use force. She lifted up a chair beside her and gave a warning. Don't give a warning. Father! Order her to let go of Nissan! Just stop them from doing this!
I cannot. If that is what you desire, then prevent it using your own power. Cut a path through to your own fate with your own hands. You who have always hid behind the backs of others in fear, let me see you overcome your weakness one last time in your life.
Alright, so Rosa's becoming the witch of this episode. Father! The chair that Rosa had lifted up swung down at the father who had reigned as a symbol of terror for her entire life. It was the greatest and final act of bravery and self-control in Rosa's life. Oh, never mind, she fucking died. What Kinzo said might have been true. If he had grasped that courage much sooner, her life might have become more free and restrained by anyone else. Then, there was a bursting sound. The sound of Rosa's chair fiercely hitting Kinzo. Could not have been this. With the chair still lifted up, she neatly lost half her head and slumped over. I would love to see Rosa, by God, Kinzo. Still, holding crossed up with one hand, Double had stuck her other hand out towards Rosa. The golden stake released from that arm had constricted Rosa in a helix, and had smashed into her head. Defensive firing. I apologize for the discourtesy of shooting so close to you, sir.
I care not. So this makes 6 people.
Yes, Lord Goldsmith. What? This makes 6 people. When she indifferently communicated that, Double let go of Kraus, whom she had been lifting up this whole time.
Indeed. So the sacrifices of the first Twilight were Eva, Rudolph, Rosa, Natsuhi, Hideyoshi, and Genji.
Ragtag group of Nanjo, Kraus, and Kirie.
Oh, just wait. This episode is really fun.
Ooh.
It's really good. It's really long, too. It's the longest episode.
Oh, hell yeah. It was a massacre that happened in an instant. The interior of the dining hall had been dirtied by blood spatter, and the 6 unlucky victims lay with their heads brutally exposed. In a way that was fitting for that abnormal space, Kinzo's abnormal laugh alone echoed out.
The curtain has finally risen. The ceremony to revive Beatrice has begun. You lucky ones who have managed to escape the first Twilight, allow me to introduce you to my friends. Arise, my friend. Ronove.
That's my boy! When Kinzo called Ronove's name, the demon butler showed himself in midair, bowing respectfully. Pleased to meet you, everyone. And good day to those of you I haven't seen for a long time. It seems that this place is once again spectacularly untidy.
Pay it no mind. It takes a stimulant of this level to wake me from my daydream-like days. Allow me to introduce my friend, a reliable butler and one of the 72 great demons, Ronove.
I am pleased to make your acquaintance. Just who was he making that introduction to? Gross and Kirie, who were still down on their backsides, and Nanjo and Goda and Kumasawa, could only look up at this middle-aged gentleman they didn't know in shock. Only Shannon and Cannon seemed to recognize him, and they bowed deeply. Oh, I wasn't able to greet Genji. Hope he was at least able to fulfill his purpose painlessly.
It was an instant death from a direct hit to the head. He didn't have time to feel the pain.
Is that so? Very well.
Allow me to introduce another friend. Arise, my friend Virgilia.
This asshole. Once again, a silhouette of someone the relatives didn't know appeared from empty space. Fuck her. He appeared in a refined dress while making an elegant greeting.
Thank you for summoning me, Master.
I don't like hearing that.
Although I would rather not been summoned into a bloody place such as this. Allow me to introduce her too. This is both my friend and a reliable counselor, Virgilia. I desire to borrow your great power as the Witch of the Finite. Lend it to me. Even if I tried to refuse, such a thing wouldn't be permitted for one subordinated by the power of your summonings. As you wish, Master.
Still, what a fearsome fellow. To think he summoned 3 of the Chesters at Jacob, and me and even Virgilia. Even though it's only in the area of summoning, I think that he surpasses Milady so thoroughly. How frightening. I can't help but shudder at the Exodomia blood.
In order to carry out Beatrice's resurrection ceremony, I shall give it my all as a summoner. This still isn't enough. In order to perfectly succeed in the ceremony this time, I shall summon more. The Pentagon Memorial troops in Renovain Regalia. I can still call more. With that magical power, I can still call many more. Answer to my summons. One of the 72 demons, Gap.
Gap?
Gap? You can even materialize her.
It probably means that the corrosion has advanced even more on this island. We've only proceeded far enough to materialize us. Now we shouldn't be surprised no matter how great a demon he summons.
Has Rokkenjima already been completely sucked into a parallel world, then? I hope he does not surrender.
Oh, go fuck yourself! Learned a lot last time, correct? After all this time, he won't surrender over this much. Probably, I should say. Well then, shall we enjoy the stage we now stand upon? It seems the main character is the master this time. Let us expect a script of a different flavor than the ladies. That was blue all of a sudden. When Kinzo strongly concentrated his magical power, a pale light gathered in the empty air, twisted. In the empty air, twisted, and a magical circle was drawn there with a deep red glow. Hello there! Who wants to voice her?
I feel like I can't come up with any more voices.
Okay, I can voice her. What kind of character is she?
Very mischievous.
Oh, I do love a mischievous character. And with a sound like glass breaking, a new demon could be seen there.
You did well to answer to my call. Got one of the 72 great demons.
This is one hell of a place you summoned me to. Did you call me to clean up this blood-stained room, Goldsmith? How's that?
Yeah, that's I'm sure it'll change over time.
Yeah, they always.
So I think we might have new character bios.
Ooh, let's see. Yes! Gap, one of the 72 great demons, also Beatrice's friend. Oh, shit. When a magician demands it, she grants the ability of instantaneous movement. She uses this extraordinary power for playing pranks mostly. Her specialty is hiding keys in bags during busy mornings. However, in the context of closed room mysteries, this power becomes an ultimate weapon that can easily strike a finishing blow. Her queen bee strikes are likely to pierce any and all detectives, forcing them to surrender. Oh fuck, I forgot Rentaro's dead. Not Rentaro, Sakutaro. And then... yeah, and these are all the same.
And the new... there might be the Chester...
Sorry? New Chester, you said?
Yeah, there might be... She might be there.
45... There we go. A weapon of the Sisters' Cavalry, which serves Pendragon. Double O is their calm and composed leader. However, this is merely the role demanded of her, since she's far more frail by nature. Double O excels at reconnaissance and serving as an advanced guard, displaying extreme supremacy in unexpected encounters. However, her excessively powerful fighting strength has been called inhumane, and it isn't rare for her to be lynched and abused when she surrenders on the battlefield. Oh, her one eye silently speaks to that. Oh, sweetheart. Oh no. The literally devilish woman, wrapped in a venomous, ominous costume, looked at the scene which should have made her cover her eyes and twisted her mouth in a grin. To summon you for such a reason would be like using a cashmere muffler to mop the floor.
It's been a long time, Gab. To think that a great demon such as yourself has finally appeared on this island. Perhaps this island is finally submerging completely into fantasy.
It turns to Meadow World, and Battler's just like, who's this hot piece of ass? Just like, whoa, calm down, Battler. This all-star cast is even more surprising than the gruesome state of the room. All three Chieta sisters, the great demon Runaway, and the great witch Virgilia, and even me! What's going on? Is this pandemonium? Are you trying to start a concert from hell or something? I see, as a conductor for that, I couldn't think of anyone better than you, Goldsmith.
I will have your assistance as facilitator in the completion of my ceremony to resurrect Beatrice. You have no objections to my summoning contract, correct?
Of course not. There's no way I could resist the subordinating power of the legendary great summoner Lord Goldsmith, who forced the famous great witch Beatrice to do his bidding. I'll assist you. Though I will, of course, ask a fitting price. So, what's my first job?
After the cowards who made it through the first twilight. Fortunately, there are still 7 here, aren't there? Tanjo, Shannon, Kan, Goda, Kumasawa, Kirie, and Kraus.
Shannon and Canon are just like, why are we cowards? What the fuck did we do?
Huh. If these 7 are all offered as sacrifices, that's exactly 13 people. Until it's time for the second and later twilights to be carried out, throw them into the cage of sacrifices.
A cashmere mop, huh? Understood. As Gap shrugged her shoulders, she looked at Kraus, who was still down on his butt. She glared. Then, when she snapped her fingers, Kraus was swallowed up by the floor, as though a round pitfall had opened up beneath him. One down. There was no hole in the floor, but it certainly looked as though Kraus had been swallowed up by a hole and disappeared. Searching for her next prey, Gap's gaze crossed Kirie's. She snapped her fingers. Kirie jumped back as though repelled. Her instincts had been right. After all, in the place where she'd been until a second ago, a round jet black hole had appeared, the same kind that had swallowed up Kraus. However, before she could catch her balance, another pitfall appeared and swallowed her up. Even Kirie had no way of eluding Gap's capture. When she snapped her fingers again, a shocked Nanja was swallowed up by the floor and disappeared. Oh god, help! When she did it again, Porten let out a short yell and jumped back. This time, a slightly large pitfall had opened, swallowing both Shannon and Cannon, who had been standing in the line by the door. But because Porten had jumped away from the door, the way was no longer blocked. Damn, instinctively aware that he would be next, go to death down through that door. Of course, Kumasawa also escaped with lightning speed, chasing after Goda. Goddamn! As Gap snapped her fingers over and over, round jet-black pitfalls opened one after another behind them, chasing them. However, they did nothing but drive the recklessly fleeing pair away and couldn't swallow them up. Goda and Kumasawa had escaped in a matter of seconds. Hell yeah! I've gotten slow. I like to get away. Don't worry, we are currently locking onto the escapee targets. Data link ready. Shall we snipe? No, I can't authorize that. They are precious sacrifices. Wait for the master's authorization.
Wait, Lord Goldsmith. We await your orders. It is still too soon for the coming of the second twilight. It's what the source of my magical power is whispering to me. It must not be now. Let them do as they please. It isn't as though they can escape from this island. Source of the Master's magical power is noise and risk and tests of luck. In other words, it means being fickle, it would seem. Perhaps you could also put it that way. Good work, Gup. Let us steadily advance the ceremony from here on. Well then, that is that. Next are my grandchildren. I will test them to see whether they are qualified to become my successor. Let's see, how shall I test their qualifications? If you decide that they're qualified, do you intend to abandon Beato's resurrection? Of course, and despite that, I will test them. Perhaps a woman cannot understand that contradiction nor my madness.
Okay, asshole.
Actually,
what the
I think I could prove that wrong. I understand his madness completely.
fuck? Like, just like, okay, okay, Kenzo, wait, why do we have to get misogynistic out of nowhere?
Well, he's just like that.
True. Well, apparently. Men are as weird as ever. I don't get the very concept of playing around with wrist. Oh my, and I thought you loved that sort of thing. Of course! If a man whispers to me about dangerous risks in love, I go head over heels. But only if he's hot.
Be quiet. Try to refrain from whispering. Truly noisy women.
Damn!
But at least they aren't boring. This is what makes summoning so pleasant. Lovey will bear one side of the scales of noise and risk in my ceremony. That is the work I expect of you.
6 brutally murdered corpses lay in the dining hall, and it was contaminated with red, gruesome decorations. It was now unimaginable that, until just a second ago, 13 humans had been arranged here in a well-organized manner. Kinzo lined up the famous demons and their subordinates, loudly declared the beginning of a night of overwhelming mass murders, and swore to himself that he would certainly revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Land.
We're gonna pause here.
Yeah, look. So the first line we say next time is "Sorry to keep you waiting." Oh my god. Please let me go. Let me get back to the title. Alright. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Umineko. That was really fun. I cannot wait for the rest of this episode.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
It's a really good episode.
This is gonna be great. I cannot wait to see Kinzo testing the Grand Open. I need to know what that involves. Alright.
There's some really fun moments later.
I hope everyone at home will join us next time. Bye for now.